This month's Thursdoid is all about getting our closest and most in-depth look yet at the various new crafting options in Build 42. They begin by clarifying some confusion around the iron ore deposits featured in the last blog post. They ensure us that these deposits were never intended to be the primary way of obtaining metal in the game. Instead, the main way we will be getting metal is from scrapping things that we find around the world and melting down their parts. Of course, when playing on the aforementioned all-wilderness map, these deposits will be your primary source, but in a normal playthrough, they will just serve as another option to choose from. Speaking of taking apart things you find in the world for use in crafting, one of the new workstations, the standing bandsaw, will allow you to cut pieces of railroad tracks into a makeshift anvil. Other new workstations mentioned alongside this one include the drill press for various crafting recipes and the arc furnace for melting everything down for you to cast into ingots. There's also even some new agricultural stations. We will have drying racks, a stone quern, and a mill. Of course, with these, we are also getting some new crops. They include barley, flax, hemp, unfortunately just the industrial kind, hops, rye, sugar beets, sunflowers, and tobacco. All of these crops are very exciting additions and will be extremely useful once they are in the game. There will also be some new, more food-oriented crops as well. So far they mention winter crops, garden vegetables, hot peppers, and some herbs. After this, they show us the kind of things that you can make using primitive tier resources. As you can see, you'll be able to make a nice home for yourself as well as all the basic survival needs using just the things you can find around you in the wilderness. Next, they showcase a really cool new system for weapons and how they are crafted. Some items will now have separate durabilities for the head and handle as well as how sharp it is. This of course means that we will be able to repair and replace these pieces individually. We can also use a whetstone to sharpen our weapons. The amount of sharpness you can gain back will be limited by the head's durability. The sharper the blade, the more damaging and efficient it will be. In this new system of durability, sharpness will get drained the fastest, followed by the handle and then the head. If you're using an axe, once the handle breaks, the head will go flying. If the head breaks first, depending on the size of axe you were using, you'll be able to use the handle as a club. For spears, the head can break off lodged into a zombie. Speaking of spears, you can now make them out of appropriate items like broomsticks, hockey sticks, or just a big stick that came off of a tree. This is yet another feature from a previously existing mod that will be made vanilla. The last major thing they talk about in this month's blog post is the work that the former Mojang developer Professor Mobius has been doing. He has been working on creating a procedurally generated wilderness system. This is very exciting as they tell us that it will allow them to make the wilderness on the edge of the Project Zomboid map expand for an almost infinite distance. We will be able to explore deep into the wild and set up our own community far away and safe from the main populated area. Since there will be a nearly infinite amount of space on the edge of the map, modders will have all the room they need to add in their custom maps. This procedural generation system will also allow for that complete wilderness map that they've been talking about, where you'll be able to just focus on crafting and building instead of looting and zombies. This one feature alone is going to add so much potential to Project Zomboid and will surely give it a whole new dimension of play. For the final small things to wrap up the news this month, they first show us a new challenge map that will be in the game. This one is called Many Years Later and it works really well with the new ways of crafting and also with the new rats roaming around. Then, a funny clip of a strange bug they had with infinitely spawning chickens. Lastly, we get yet another holiday-themed video, but this time for Christmas. It includes all of the new animals that are coming to the game so we can get another look at them. That's it for the Project Zomboid news this time. I appreciate all of you for checking it out with me. Now that this busy year is coming to an end, be on the lookout for lots more Project Zomboid content coming your way. I have plans for things like more mod reviews and maybe even a playthrough of the Megamap 2.0.